When I discovered I had gallstones, I was already a naturopath. The thing is, I was never taught how to treat gallstones during my studies. I didn't have a protocol to go by. I didn't have a clear path. I just knew that a surgery was not the option for me. And so I had to find the natural path that works. And what I'd like to do today in this video is share with you both how I discovered this process and what I learned from my patients ever since. And most importantly, a few tips that I can say are the most important ones that anyone with gallstones should hear before taking any choice in the matter. So like I said, I didn't have a path. So I posted on the internet. It was a very young internet, so surprisingly, I actually got responses without, putting ads or something. And I gotta say, most of these suggestions I got were so scary, I wouldn't even repeat them out loud. But I did get one reaction, which was, well, quite surprisingly simple. I got a picture of several gallstones from a young American who had actually taken out his gallstones the natural way, and the name of a book by Holder Clark that, well, the book itself wasn't too deep or anything I would clear for, say, my bibliography, but it didn't have the protocol. It's not hers, she just quotes it. But more importantly, it was sound, it was logical. So I went ahead and tried it. And that definitely opened my eyes because gallstones did come out. And it was not scary, just a little, new. The experience wasn't something I had done before. And the results were clear. They were also clear that things need to be improved. And so let's talk about what my patients told me. Well, my first patient taught me not to skip any part of the protocol. I totally ignored the enema, for instance. And I don't think I would ever let anyone repeat that mistake. That night was not fun. So yeah, very important. Another patient taught me a different lesson by simply doing the first flush, taking out the stones, the first stones, it's important to say, because it's rarely the whole story. And then running back to regular food, which was not wholesome foods, and coming back with a new pain and not a fun pain. Yeah, that was a good lesson because that meant just doing it once and, saying, okay, I'm clean was not a good choice. And so, it was time to teach people to repeat the process. Another patient who actually did 5 rounds of flushing, 2 of which were totally clean at the end, still had some weird pain in the side. And when I checked that area, it was obvious that it was muscles and not the gallbladder because it was not really where the gallbladder is supposed to be too. And a little more magnesium and the pain was gone. And this patient I've been in touch with for more than a decade after, feeling great, no issues, had a very long period where he actually tested the limits of, well, not so wholesome nutrition, no pain. And obviously, that taught us a very important lesson. Stick with it till it's done. So, what are those important tips that you really, really want to stick to when you want to treat in a natural way the story of gallstones? One, well, the first lesson, the most important lesson is come prepared. Don't just jump into it because you found the protocol somewhere online. I did that, and that was my first mistake actually, because I really felt not so good after the cleanup. The flush was done, and so was I. So, and despite the fact that I was just like 25 years old, it was still too much for me. I was not prepared. So prepare yourself before you jump into this pool. The second tip is to make sure that you repeat it again and again with enough time in between to rest. About a month or so is usually a good, basic suggestion, but it's personalized when it's done right. Give yourself a chance to rest, but also make sure you repeat it until it's done. Don't trust ultrasounds for that. And then the last and the most important tip, make sure you get instructions that are personalized for your lifestyle for prevention. Otherwise, it's a temporary process. And believe me, I'm 30 years after, clean as a whistle, no pain, no issues. It's worth it. So I'll see you in the community. Wait, what do you mean community? That's the fourth tip. The fourth tip is, why do it alone when you can do it together? Isn't it much easier when you know that other people are going through the same process? And if you have, difficulty complying and with the nutrition or any other aspect, somebody else might have actually succeeded where you failed, or has an idea where you're having a difficulty. Join our community online. It's much more fun together.